Social media feeds into much of our modern lives, good and bad. The bad being arguably an unattainable, FOMO-fueling edited life. The good being our relationships, communication, awareness, and most importantly for me, endless photos of Jeff Goldblum purring like a cat in a psychedelic Prada shirt. Here to talk about social media, communities, platforms, and the innovations his company Vero are pursuing, please welcome on stage GQ's Associate Editor Stuart McGurk and Vero CEO Ayman Hariri.
Ayman Hariri is the founder of a smart social network for people who love sharing their favorite movies, music, books, places, links, photos, videos, and who, crucially, want greater control over who sees what. Advertising free, Vero's subscription-based model makes it utterly unique. It puts control back in the hands of the user and fundamentally alters the dynamic. The users are their customers, not the advertisers. Its very name, Vero, means truth, something I think we can all agree has been in short supply lately when it comes to social media and social networks. Ayman, great to have you here. And for those of you who still don't know what Vero is, here's a short film to show everyone.
The last decade has been defined by social media, for better and for worse. So 3 years ago, we decided to take stock of where we're at and where we're going. We started with a name, Vero, meaning truth. Then we got to work. First, we made sharing the stuff we love, all the stuff we love, simpler and more focused. This made it easier to connect over shared interests, find the posts you want, and discover new music, movies, places, books, and everything in between. It also made it look much cleaner. Then, we invented a super simple audience selector and put it right up front, so you can control who sees your posts and who doesn't. We made it so you could play music and buy stuff without leaving the app. Then, we didn't put any advertising in it, which meant we didn't have to put any algorithms in it, which meant we didn't have to mine data from anyone, ever. And when we were done, we realized we hadn't just created a new social network, we'd created a new way to be social online. Less of what makes it suck, more of what makes it great.
Ayman, great to have you here. Before we get into Vero, let me just quickly ask about you. CNN called you the unlikely billionaire behind Vero, the hottest new tech app. Tell us what they mean by unlikely and why you are different from, I guess, the typical or stereotypical Silicon Valley app entrepreneur.
Well, I think usually when startups start something like this, like a new social network or any kind of platform, it's usually out of Silicon Valley. It usually starts with some VCs and some angel investors who come in and back the company, and there's usually that kind of a model where we just see time and time again creating new platforms and new products that go into the market. And to have a platform that's built by people who are all over the world, coming together, not even having an office. We don't have an office at Vero. We work off of Slack, and even before Slack, we had to come up with all sorts of tools to be able to do what we do. It doesn't really fit. And having this kind of model that we're in today affords us to really focus on what's most important. Creating a platform that is an alternative to everything else by not having to give up on our principles at all. Yeah. So we're really focused on serving our users, who are our customers in this case.
Let's get on to that. Is it fair to say that the formation of Vero came about through dissatisfaction with what was already out there?
Yeah, it really did. I got onto social quite late, and my two co-founders, my best friend since I was 12, and my cousin, they sort of encouraged me to go on social, and when I went on,
How late are we talking?
quite a few years into it, at least 5-6 years, I think. I kind of shied away from it. I'm quite a private person, and didn't feel the need to get on a platform that shared every aspect of my life.
Yeah.
And when I got on it, I noticed that my friends were acting quite strange. In no way that I recognized them in the real world. I mean, even events, dinners, or whatever that we went to, they were just blatantly exaggerated. And I kind of looked at that and tried to figure out why that was. And one of the things that I figured out was the fact that the platforms were actually designed to do that, whether providing people with audiences that they never would have in the real world. And also, just I had this sense that people were being taken advantage of. And there was my own personal dissatisfaction on just the way it was designed and the usage and things like that, but it grew to sort of seeing the underlying purpose of these platforms, which is really to mine data. It's something that we don't do. We go out of our way to even anonymize anything that we have on people because it's really not our business model. We think that people's privacy is priceless. Their data is priceless, and sort of taking advantage of them by putting a shiny object called free in front of them when really free is non-existent.
Yeah.
You're giving up way more, and you're giving up all of this insight into your life. So it's not just data, it's not just when you log on, but they're able to understand so much about you that we felt that was a red line that's been crossed many, many times. And we felt that there was a need for an alternative, and so we started Vero.
And so it's advertising free. It's always been advertising free.
Yes.
But in March, you moved to a subscription model. Is that correct?
No, we haven't moved to a subscription model yet.
Plan,
no.
there's the plan to.
Yeah, there's a plan to turn on subscription, and we're giving it away for free for life for anybody who registers today. And the idea behind that really was, it wasn't a gimmick. It was more, it's what we felt was fair. I mean, we're building a new app. We're not hiring thousands of people to do this in the blink of an eye. We're taking our time because we feel like features that have been built into these apps today are really messing with our minds. They're messing with the way that we feel about ourselves.
What would be an example of that for you?
Well, I mean, when I see filters that let people change the size of their noses and and how their appearances and things like this. I mean, it's all fun to a certain extent, but on a larger extent, sort of plotting out the next 10 years and seeing how it's affecting people's mental health, how they perceive their own lives, their need to perform for a crowd rather than just connect up with their friends. And when apps are designed to have you spend the maximum amount of time on them, that is their business model, that is what they're going for, all to serve you an ad, that isn't something that I feel is sustainable. We're creatures we're social creatures. We want to connect with each other, and you can't stop us. I mean, I'll literally be standing waiting for my bags at the airport, and somebody start talking to me and telling me about why they're there, asking me about why I'm in that city, and they'll tell me about a wedding that they're going to, and all of this stuff. And I always find that fantastic. But I feel like it's being taken advantage of. It's the engine that's driving these platforms to only get as much insight about you as possible to serve you an ad, not to cure cancer, not to eliminate wars, but really that. And
So those are the obvious benefits of the subscription-based model. What are the biggest challenges for you? Because as you were just saying, we think these other social networks are free, but they're not. You're paying with your data, and it's sort of what people don't realize maybe. So what are the challenges with how you sell this different way of doing things?
Yeah, so I say, people ask me, is Instagram your competitor? Is Facebook your competitor? And the way I think about it is actually, my competition is actually the damage that they've done, the sort of the way that they've made people believe a certain thing that it isn't actually really true. I mean, whether it's the idea of free, whether it's the idea that having the most likes or having these kinds of new concepts that have only been existed in the last, 10 years or so, right? That these things are important. And what we strive to do is to remind people that what's important is you connecting with other people of similar interests, because you can learn something, you can be inspired, you can be taken out of your comfort zone and be shown something new and create new experiences.
Yeah. And final question, because we are running out of time, but to give an example of a social network that has been embroiled in nothing but controversy over the past year and 2 years, someone like Facebook with all their incredible data breaches, let's say in a scenario, you've been given Zuckerberg's job, you're the new Zuckerberg, what are the first things you do to fix their problems? It's a big job.
No, it's a very good question, and I have thought of that. Not to take his job, but to, sort of, is there a way for them to solve it? I know this is going to sound self-serving, but I don't think it's solvable. Because when you start on that path of having free as part of your model, it becomes really difficult to change that. You end up with some people that pay, some people that don't, and those who are paying are believing that that they should be able to reach all of their followers, all of their audience, be able to connect with people and not see ads. But the people on the other side who are not paying maybe will have a different experience. So for us, I think starting from scratch, having a different view of things and not adding anything that is harmful for people, having a longer time horizon, taking our time, having patient capital. I'm the investor in the company, and we haven't taken outside capital investment, allows us to really be true to this concept of the real social network is the one that exists in the real world. And our job is to try and put that online. And that's our goal.
Wonderful. Ayman, thank you ever so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.